have no idea what you really are. You have no idea how deep this thing goes. You're one of us now. But you keep going.
We still don't really know what movie we're doing.
Welcome back to Before and After the Movies. I'm Antony.
I'm Aman.
And today it is time for a review of The Old Guard.
The Old Guard, Netflix original.
Yeah,
another one.
Charlize Theron.
Chiwetel Ejiofor.
Yeah. I'm going to butcher his name through the entirety of this podcast.
Chiwetel, we're sorry. We know you're listening, and we're sorry.
Yeah. And then a bunch of other people like Kiki something.
Yeah, I just scrolled past those names.
Oh, and there's... what's that guy called? So I was reading down the cast list and wondering, I was like, okay, is this movie going to stand out? Is there going to be anything new about it? And then I saw that one of the cool like white guys playing a character called Booker. I was like,
great.
Oh no.
We need a generic name.
Yeah, Booker Ryder. So we got The Old Guard here, which we said we were going to do this podcast like around a week ago, but I wanted my research to be kind of fresh, so I waited, knew nothing about it. Like literally, aside from the fact that Charlize Theron was in it, that was it. Watched the trailer this morning, and I was just really disappointed when I watched the trailer because I feel like I've seen this movie 10,000 times.
Yeah, it's actually one of my points. Like these Netflix originals, we got Old Guard, we had Extraction a couple months ago. I don't know if you saw the trailer for the new one, Project Power.
Yeah, well, that came up after this, and I was like, maybe we should do that instead, but that's not even out yet.
No, but what are these like?
What are these weird regressive superpower movies coming out?
These like hard R, they like live off the gore and just like slow-mo action.
Like at least Extraction had really like sick action. Yeah. Like I know we disagree about this, but you can tell by watching this movie trailer that the action's not going to be as good as the Extraction action.
Yeah,
intentional rhyme.
I agree.
So let's talk a little bit about this. So it seems as if we're sort of getting to that tail end of the movie theater shutdown, hopefully. Hopefully there are some movies around the corner.
Tough to predict. Did Tenet get pushed back? I don't know.
Not officially, but people are saying it's only a matter of time.
Yeah.
Thanks, Florida. But so it looks like we're stuck with these. I think these are kind of the last few movies that were probably shot in time before lockdown ended. So there's only so many movies they can keep putting out.
Are we gonna come in with this kind of negative feel towards it?
I mean, I feel like this podcast has lately become like a bit of a hater pod.
I
don't want to watch all these shitty movies and talk shit about
maybe
them.
This movie will surprise us.
I hope so.
There was some thing posted on their viewership, like 72 million or something like that.
Yeah, that's... Unfortunately, quantity doesn't always reflect quality.
No, yeah. People are just desperate for something new.
Yeah, exactly. And it's crazy to think that it's been as long as it has since we've been to a movie theater.
I miss the popcorn.
Yeah, big time. I mean, we got some microwave stuff here, but
yeah, it's not the same.
Having said that, if this can be as good as Extraction, I'll be happy. That's kind of the bar for me. I've got a point here, like Charlize Theron, who I'm a big fan of, but lately I've seen a lot of repetition in her work. She's playing a lot of the same characters, these really emotionally flat, deadpan, like badass women.
Yeah.
And
they got her in the badass role. What was the
Atomic Blonde?
Atomic Blonde.
Yeah.
And then Hancock maybe, but
yeah,
that was a while ago.
Mad Max.
Yeah.
There's another one, I swear. Even when she's like not... I saw the movie with her and Seth Rogen. What was that one? Can't think what it's called.
Oh, the
hot one or something? No,
it's like You Don't Deserve Her or something.
It's not that bad.
He's fat and ugly, she's hot.
But he's funny.
I'm gonna look it up right now.
The Swing Vote? No, that's what...
It's like Kevin Costner. It's not
The
about
Long
politics.
Shot.
The Long Shot. Is it about politics?
Yeah, it is. She's like trying to be president.
She was in Bombshell.
I haven't seen... Is that another... Oh, that was a
the
political
Oscar
thriller,
one.
right?
Yeah. About Fox News or something.
So we know that she's got this in her locker to like do something really cool, but this feels way too similar to Atomic Blonde, just stylistically and what we're in for. And I didn't even finish Atomic Blonde.
I haven't even watched it. But I mean, let's not discredit Charlize as a actor performer.
Yeah, like when she's on her game, she's one of the best.
100%. Yeah.
I wonder what it is, and I read a thing. I did my best to avoid the Rotten Tomatoes score, and I did manage to avoid it.
I don't know it either.
I would guess like 63.
Yeah.
If we're lucky.
Yeah. Probably
But-
fresh.
Yeah, I was just reading through the like Wikipedia page, and it said sequel, and I just saw like that part. The only line was Charlize Theron's expressed interest in a sequel. It's like, why are you pushing all these like? She wanted to do a John Wick, Atomic Blonde crossover, apparently.
Maybe she likes doing the action
she doesn't
movies.
have to do any of the stuff.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Okay. Some fast questions, Antony?
Yeah, him was fast questions.
All right. Question number 1. There's 5 of them, I think. Will one of them die?
Yeah. Can I tell you how really quickly?
Get into how after.
Okay.
Question number 2. Will there be some sort of prophecy?
No.
Okay. Question number 3. I think there will be a prophecy.
Yeah, I can tell.
Question number 3. Is this going to be a good movie or a good for what it is movie?
It's gonna be a bad movie. Neither.
Oh,
I think
okay.
we're gonna be really upset with this one.
Really? I think
Yeah.
I might like this one.
Just every single line felt like it has been said in another trailer before in the past. I just couldn't believe it. It was like, you're one of us now. Oh, did you see the second trailer?
no, only first one.
Can I tell you this one thing that happens in it?
Of course.
So like, it's when they first meet, like the new old guard member.
Yeah.
And she's like, get away from me. And she like stabs Charlize Theron. She's like, please don't do that again.
Oh, that's one of my predictions too.
Oh, okay.
We're gonna get one of those like tongue in cheek, like ow,
Yeah.
cracks the neck back
Yeah.
in place.
And then he's like, did you get her? She's like, what's her quality like? Well, she tried to kill me, so it's a good start. Or something like that. Oh, Ellen likes that one. Oh, there's also like a number of things where it's like, just because we live forever doesn't mean we don't feel pain.
Oh yeah.
Like all these like little chuckles after things get said.
You think this is gonna be a brutal 2 hours and 5 minutes?
Yeah, 2 hours and 5
Yeah,
minutes.
it's getting a little late here too.
Yeah, that is a long film.
Okay, tell me how they kill off obviously they're gonna kill off
Yeah,
one.
so it's gonna be, and I've been throwing a lot of shade at Charlize. This all ties in. I've been throwing shade at Charlize, but I'd also like to toss a bit of shade at Chiwetel Ejiofor, because he's also picking these like shit characters lately.
Yeah.
The only one that really springs to mind is Doctor Strange, where I just thought that was like the most boring character ever.
Yeah, Mordo.
And he's just reduced to like exposition in this movie. If we can crack that genetic code, it's like faux scientist like kind of accent.
He's the villain.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So what's gonna happen is he's obviously gonna have like hunger to capture this power.
Yeah.
And then he's like, I'll have more power than you can imagine. And then he's basically gonna suck out the power from one of them and get it, and then like kill that person while they're mortal.
Yeah.
And I think we'll get a moment where Charlize Theron is like overpowered. She's like kicking ass, and she slowly just gets overpowered, and then she kind of watches it. She's like, no.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
And then there'll be like a big showdown, but it'll manifest in him in a bad way. So he gets like horns or something, or a bit spiky.
Turns into Venom.
It's basically Abomination. This is what I'm getting from this movie.
I have that too. Some sort of life drain device that makes them mortal.
Yeah.
Some sort of MacGuffin type thing.
Yeah, exactly.
No, don't
Orb.
let it attach to it.
Or maybe like,
we gotta take out its power source.
yeah, because they said they've come from like all these other times. I think like the key has been left in some like pyramid or something.
Oh, okay. Maybe we'll get a Skybeam if we're lucky.
Yeah. So I got a question for you. Like, as far as predictions go, like how many like what kind of time eras do you anticipate seeing in this movie?
Oh, okay. That kind of ties into
How far can they stretch the $70 million budget?
That kind of ties into my opening scene, if you don't mind.
Please do.
Opening scene starts off Middle Ages.
Okay.
There's some sort of Renaissance age, and Charlize has like her battle
In her
axe.
little cabin,
Yeah.
sharpening her axe.
And she goes and kills some tyrant king or
Yeah.
something like that. And then she gets hung, but then she survives.
Okay. So she waits until later when everyone leaves.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I like that.
Yeah.
And then we sort of get like our opening credits kind of takes us through the history to present day. You know,
Kind of like X-Men Origins. Wolverine.
exactly
Yeah.
World War One, World War
Yeah.
Two, Cold War, that kind of thing.
I would like to see that. I've gone for a slightly like more boring, generic opening scene. I think we might get long ago, like a voiceover and like
no.
stop motion drawn animation to like cut some of the corners. But they'll give you one, so then it'll be like, I think it's gonna go further back. I think we'll get like
At the
an
dawn of
animation
time.
fire that slowly turns into a real fire of these like people walking down like a dark hallway, and then we see Charlize Theron as like a like pharaoh or something.
Yeah.
And I think that's how we kind of, and then we like fast forward to today, and she's like in a coffee, like a really modern coffee shop or something.
On her laptop, on her
Yeah,
MacBook.
yeah, it goes from like a like a tombstone carving to like a laptop.
I can imagine them being like prophecy wise, like they were rumored to be 5 guards.
Oh no! But one.
And that's Chiwetel.
Yeah, no, it's the girl.
Oh, my prediction is that Chiwetel.
Oh, he was the
like,
sixth one.
Yeah,
maybe.
he's been immortal the entire time, and he's like kind of defacted.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
And maybe Charlize knows about this secretly, or
Oh,
not.
okay, yeah.
There's things you don't understand.
Oh my god.
Okay, as far as the director goes, we like to shine a little light on the director. Best known from the team that brought us The Secret Life of Bees. It was at every like movie rental store for like 8 years. The Secret Life of Bees. That's all I had heard of.
This is directed by Gina Prince Bythewood.
Yeah, so not sure what to expect from her, but I hadn't seen any of her other work, but I think it's cool to see, again, more women breaking into this kind of action genre. There was, oh my God, what's the name of her director from Wonder Woman?
Patty Jenkins?
Patty Jenkins, thank you. So that's great to see. I didn't really know anything else that she'd done, though.
No, I just took a quick look at the filmography. I have not seen any of it.
Yeah, so that's a bit concerning to me, knowing that like this is a pretty like action heavy film, and it's like a director who doesn't seem, maybe I'm wrong, but doesn't seem to have like dabbled in that world too often. So either they've got like a great like, you know, like a second unit stunt director,
strong stunt team probably.
but at the very least, I want to see like compelling action. I want the hits to feel hard. You always run the risk with these kind of superhuman, especially with like rapid healing, that you lose any sense of stake really quickly.
Oh my God, that's one of my questions for you. Like, how do they weaken the characters?
Yeah, there's got to be something with the laboratory or something like that.
They all get infected at the start of the movie.
Yeah, I think we'll see them like be super overpowered at first. There's that like opening scene where they all get like gunned down.
They all get shot.
But like if you can just do that, then that's just gonna make for a really suspenseless movie. That was another good thing about Extraction.
Yes,
you slowly see Chris Hemsworth picking up the hits as he goes on until he's just like can't do it anymore.
So yeah, that is definitely an issue that we could run into with this film.
Yeah, but there's cool themes to draw from that. You know, would being immortal be even worse than mortal? Because you'll see all your loved ones die. Everyone you've ever loved.
We're getting that scene.
So how do you think this movie ends? Do you think that she chooses like a mortal life? Because can I paint my closing scene real quick?
Oh, please do.
So after the big explosions and the tractor beam gets stopped,
the fight against Chiwetel,
and his own greed somehow ties into his demise. I need more power. I think Charlize Theron's about to die, and Kiki, the character, saves her, and she like becomes like really one of the team. And then they sort of set up for a sequel by. I know this is based on a graphic novel, so I think it's going to kind of be, we need like a team of people who can help us from other threats, because I think we'll learn that there's more people like them. So it's like there could be more, like we need to band together, and then the government's kind of like, we need you now, and they're like, well, not right now. And then I think they like take some kind of break and go on like to Fiji or something.
Oh yeah, and there's like a surfing scene.
Yeah.
That sounded so boring.
Yeah, I think that's where we're gonna be around 2:02 this movie.
Oh no.
What are you thinking as far as the ending?
I thought, I was thinking maybe like a Charlize sacrifice type thing.
Oh, she might die, you think?
She might die to let like Kiki kind of carry on the old guard.
Right.
There's gonna be a new guard.
So maybe she could be saved, but she's like, no, like I'm ready. Or
She's
had enough of.
She's
like,
done her time. Yeah.
Yeah. I think that sounds better. I think you should be in charge of this movie, man.
Yeah. Put me on a first AD.
Yeah.
A question for you here. So you mentioned in the trailer, the guy says that they still feel pain.
Right.
And we've also seen in the trailer multiple gunshots. Like, if you're going to take multiple gunshots, do you think they're going to show them like in excruciating pain?
I mean, yeah, it seems like from what I've seen, it's not like they're impervious. Like she puts her hand in the fire and it like burns her. So obviously they feel all the pain, which is something that like the best thing we can compare this to is Wolverine, obviously.
Yeah.
And in the first one, they try and establish, she's like, do you feel the pain or whatever? Is it the cigar that he puts out or the bullet?
when his claws come out.
Oh, yeah. Does it hurt? And he's like, every time.
But
they just kind of abandon that. Yeah. He just gets shot all the time.
He gets shot in the head in the second one.
Care, yeah. So I think that's a good thing they have is just because you're immortal, if you're in excruciating agony, that's even worse in a way, because it's like you can't be put out of your misery.
Yeah. But they have the healing properties. So.
Yeah, and like how is the healing rules gonna be like strict?
Oh
or is
yeah,
it gonna be super
in the
fast
trailer,
moving?
Charlize's like, "Look, you're already healing quicker." It's like eventually Charlize just doesn't feel pain.
Yeah, so it's just that sounds so boring.
Yeah, I mean, hopefully, it seems like these action movies after John Wick have definitely started doing like the longer takes, the one shots. So I don't think we'll get many jump cuts.
It's like some smooth
action, well tracked. Yeah,
I hope so. I was gonna say I think we're looking towards a finale, like where I think the kind of climax is gonna be like one of the old guard has been like captured, so they can extract their powers.
Yeah.
So I think it's gonna be very much like there's only four of us left or whatever, like, and there's hundreds of them, and it's like this is what we do, and then it's taking down like a big facility of some kind.
Oh, so you think it's facility? I was kind of leaning towards like a corrupt government type approach in a random country.
Oh,
kind of
like a third world country kind of
like
setting.
Is that movie called The Expendables?
Yeah. With Stallone.
Yeah. Something like that, where they go into this area,
right, and kind of take it back.
Yeah, and then Chitowell is like kind of there.
Yeah,
pulling the strings.
I think it's going to be sort of foreign government facility, like a big castle, and they have to we get like the little plan beforehand and the big lock and load scene.
Yeah. Do you think Charlize has a line where like she has got a battle axe? Like, why don't you just use a gun? She's like, "This is more reliable," or something like that.
Oh, I really hope
axes
not.
don't jam.
Yeah, exactly. I think she'll have used guns the whole time, but kind of like for the final fight scene, they gotta take it back a bit. They gotta go a bit old school.
She busts that out only for the final scene. Oh my god. Oh my god.
It's been a while, old friend. And then we cut to like 2 security guards at night, old like bow and arrow.
Oh yeah. We gotta go old school.
Yeah, they've got an EMP. Oh, that's from Hobbs and Shaw. Yeah. They can't do that. Surely not.
I said I got a prediction here. We'll get some sort of reference to World War II. One of the guards will be like, "This is at least cleaner than that mess we left in Germany."
Oh, I see. Okay.
Or not.
I think we'll get. Oh yeah, one other prediction I have is I think we'll definitely get. I didn't like that.
Fuck.
Why would? Oh, I thought when you said one of the guards, I was thinking like one of the lowly security guards.
No, one of the old guards.
Happens to be a history buff.
This reminds me of World War II Germany.
Yes. What a strange prediction that would be. I think we'll get either through flashback to the Crusades with like a really desaturated filter. It's gonna be Charlize Theron when she was getting her like initial combat training.
Oh man!
It's gonna be like, again, don't be weak, and she's gonna be like, she's gonna get beaten down like 2 or 3 times from like her male like mentor, and then all of a sudden she's gonna like take him down, and, like, push the baton, and you first. Yeah, I think we're getting a desaturated combat training.
I could see flashback. Like in that scene, she's also training with another child, and it turns out to be Chiwetel.
Oh yeah, you were best of friends until your memory was wiped.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, maybe a little memory wipe.
A little memory wipe.
Oh, and then he makes the good choice in the end. Maybe he becomes good. I always loved you.
Oh man, what is this movie?
I feel like we might be super off with this.
Come back. This movie is fucking incredible. Yeah.
All right. Well, my excitement's gone up a little bit. I'll give you that. Oh, I have one more. Actually, this is kind of like what you said. Now I get what you said. I've written down just like the old Crusade routine because they're kidnapped. Yeah, and they're like, "How are we getting out of here?" And he's like, "Remember the Crusades?"
Yeah. Okay. Remember World War II?
Oh yeah. There's also a scene for sure. This one I'm pretty confident about. Where Kiki's kind of coming to terms with like this reality of who she is, and she's just like, "So you did this? Like you were really here? What's Abraham Lincoln like?" And she's gonna be like, "Total douchebag."
Oh my god. How do you think they discover the new girl? I got a little prediction here.
It's actually, I'm pretty sure it's in the second trailer I watched.
So is it?
So I won't really.
Okay.
I won't tell you.
My prediction was that like she's like a competitive swimmer. And then she's like swimming in the pool and she like drowns, but then in the morgue she like catches her breath, and that gets on Charlize's radar.
That's really good.
Yeah.
All right. On that one, I think we should hop into this movie, get some popcorn going.
Yeah, let's do it.
All right, we'll see you in 3, 2, 1.
And we're back.
Yep, we have finished the old guard.
Mm-hmm.
Few things I want to ask you, but as usual, I'd like it if we could do our 3, 2, 1 countdown for a rating.
Okay, ready?
All right,
3, 2, 1.
7.
6.5. Okay. Yeah.
That's the first time we've been around
Somewhat
the same
agreeable.
ballpark.
Yeah.
Definitely better than I thought it was gonna be.
Yeah, it was okay.
Yeah, like I was thinking like 5 territory.
Yeah, for sure.
And it started in that kind of 5 territory quite firmly. For why do you give
we were taking our shots.
Yeah. Why do you get not literally taking shots? We were digging at the film. I don't want people to think that we do inappropriate things while we do the podcast. Can you just give a quick recap in case anyone hasn't seen it? In like 10 seconds. New segment, 10-second recap. Go.
A group of immortal mercenaries. They get hunted to use their blood to provide immortality to everyone. A new person comes along and reinvigorates their fight against justice.
Okay. Fight against justice.
Justice?
Yeah,
fight for justice.
Yeah, that's pretty much right. So you got this group of mercenaries. They're kind of haggard. They haven't seen each other in a long time. And then they get recruited for this mission.
Is the beginning of the movie just kind of blurring for you right now?
Yeah, what happened? They get recruited for this mission. They go do it. It's set up to prove that they can have immortal powers because they film it.
Oh, yeah.
And then they're like, for some reason,
we need their blood.
DNA, but they didn't get any. It's like, wouldn't there be blood all over the floor? So there was a few plot holes along the way.
Which is to be expected.
And then she randomly has a dream about like another person. So whenever there's a new person being integrated into their group, they all have like a mutual dream. Mm-hmm. And then she kind of goes and recruits her. They never really explain that. Really.
No, yeah.
Just it's kind of a destiny, fate kind of thing.
One of my notes.
So they do that, and then they kind of band together. And then what happened?
The 2 of them get kidnapped.
Right.
And then
by this like British young CEO researcher.
Yeah, who you love.
Merrick Pharmaceuticals.
Here's a little actually fun fact. Do you know who that actor is?
The poor man's Ben Whishaw.
He played Dudley Dursley.
No, he didn't.
I did not blow your mind.
You look so familiar. He's still somewhat attractive. He lost weight though. Good for him.
Yeah.
Oh, he was. He was actually wearing a fat suit. Actually.
Oh, really?
From like the second movie on, because he just like wasn't that big in real life.
Fair enough.
I'm surprised Warner Brothers didn't shove pie down his face. Little tie-in, same universe. I know all about fascinating creatures. So he's this evil guy. He wants to use it to help people, but then he kind of mentions money as well.
Yeah.
And then Chiwetel Ejiofor is like an ex-CIA guy who he kind of recruits to help bring these guys in.
Yeah, because he's jaded because he saw his wife die from ALS.
Right. And he's like, you guys, with your blood, we can help these people.
Yeah.
And people like my wife. Mm-hmm. But then he kind of becomes a good guy because he's got the moral compass, which I didn't really see coming, to be fair. But, I mean, once we got into the movie, before the movie, I didn't see it coming.
The movie,
so they all kind of band together and they go take a facility and have a big shootout.
Yep.
And there's some, dallying themes of like losing. We were talking about what their weakness would be, and it's something to do with like when it's your time, you just start losing your immortality. Mm-hmm. And Charlize Theron starts kind of losing hers. And I thought there were some cool things that were done in the film. Like I liked her backstory.
Yeah.
They left it very ambiguous as to how old she really was.
Yeah.
That kind of got me guessing. I was like, oh, like where's she from? Like what's going to go down? And then you learn this really interesting story about, this is probably the highlight of the movie for me. She had like an old partner back in the day that they would do all these like crusades together. Mm-hmm. And they thought they were witches in whatever time they were in.
Oh, man, that torture was...
Yeah, there was some, like, brutal torture scenes.
Yeah,
and they're like, oh, like, here we go again. They'll probably just burn us alive or whatever.
Yeah.
And they put her in this, like... iron casket, basically. Yeah. And they throw her overboard, so she'll just perpetually be, like, drowning. Yeah. And, like, coming to conscious, drowning, coming to conscious.
That's a freaky thing.
Yeah, and we knew it was going to come back at some point.
Yeah.
And then we joked, we were like, oh, that's more like a sequel kind of territory. And then right at the end of the movie, one of the people on their team betrays them temporarily because he just is sick of being alive, he's so jaded.
Yeah, and he gave a great monologue.
Yeah.
Let me say that. In the Abandoned Mine, he talked about being alone and the guilt of watching his family die, and I actually really enjoyed that.
Yeah, I thought that was really well done. And now we see that because he's been like banished for 100 years, which seems like he can't.
A bit of a harsh punishment.
Yeah, 6 months later, he made it 6 months in, and he's like drinking his ass off.
Yeah,
and he meets Charlize Theron's like old comrade,
Quinn.
Yeah, and they're like, oh, like nice to finally meet you.
Yeah,
so, that kind of was interesting to me, and surprisingly, I'm down to see more of this universe.
Yeah, and I think that's where I started to pick apart this movie. Is like I wanted to see them explore that lore a bit more.
Yeah,
like what is Charlize's past? Like you know, how old is she?
It is really strange how similar her character's backstory is to Hancock, which she was also in.
Yeah,
she's like, we used to be gods, then we were witches, now we're superheroes.
Yeah,
and that was kind of weird.
That was weird. Maybe like explain the dream thing a bit more. That kind of happened like briefly in passing.
Yeah, I mean it's one of those movies where I feel like all those little fine details will start to like you'll start to forget about them really quickly. But in reality, like if you actually dug into it, I think there's some pretty big plot holes and just like unanswered questions. Yeah. So that kind of bothered me a little bit. Another thing that really bugged me was just, and I'm noticing with these kind of movies where they all fall down for me, is just the needless, really on the nose exposition. Like when characters are just by themselves and they're like when she has the dream about the other person. What's the character's name? You're good with this.
Niall.
Jesus.
Yeah.
She's like, oh, it hasn't happened for 200 years. Why is this happening now? Like people just don't.
You don't speak like that. Yeah.
And it's like, you know the rules. Like it takes longer to heal the more you've been alive.
Yeah.
Like, they just kept doing that, and it always pulls me out of it. I feel like there's ways to do it through action. I get you got to do it sometimes, but there's a lot in this movie. So as far as predictions go, anything that stood out to you that we?
You had the one where they like reference a person in history.
Yeah.
And then Charlize like personally knows him. Yeah.
Yeah. So
it was the artist Rodin.
Yeah, I think it was Rodeo. No,
Rodin. I think I'm saying that right, Rodin.
Yeah, that was on there. I thought, just not really a prediction, but I thought the action was a little underwhelming. Like,
yeah, I wrote action was okay.
Yeah, a little bit handheld. A few just like, what's really going on?
Yeah,
like
it just didn't feel as smooth.
Yeah, as an Extraction per se.
There was like some good gunplay, but even then.
Yeah. I was kind of right about like the combat training scene, like when they first fight on the plane, and it was like fight for a little bit, stare at each other.
Did you even?
Not bad.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it wasn't quite on the like. That's how I saw it going, but
there definitely was like when Charlize got stabbed, she was like, "Oh,
yeah."
Like an eye roll.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm gonna survive this, but it still hurts.
A lot of chuckling after, like mercenary comments.
My predictions were based on like Chiwetel being the main enemy. I guess that was very wrong.
Yeah, they kind of set him up like that, and there was another really weird thing that they never really expanded on when he was kind of showing all his research about her. What was the thing about like Zenit or something where it was saying like she saves one person, but then that person ends up saving like hundreds of thousands of people? So
Charlize's whole character was like, I save people, but the world keeps going to shit.
Yeah.
And then he was showing like the cascade where she saved this group of people, and then one of them went on to develop this life-saving drug,
like an antibiotic or something.
Exactly, yeah. Or one of them went on to win the Nobel Peace Prize in doing this and stuff
like
that. So
it was weird because
you save these people and it cascades down.
Yeah, because the way the movie did that, it was playing this kind of like spine-tingling score, and I thought it was like some kind of twist. Like she was unintentionally like, because she had that jab about her being religious, and she was like, trust me, God doesn't exist.
Yeah.
But it was almost like she was doing some kind of like destiny, like she's chosen to save certain people who go on and save like, and I was like, oh, that's what their purpose is.
Maybe they were going
never touched on it.
Yeah, exactly. I feel like they kind of missed the mark on that.
Yeah, so the movie couldn't quite decide, and maybe they're setting this up for sequels, and I'm sure that the graphic novel like source material probably goes into that a lot more. But I was left feeling like it was a movie that didn't quite know like what it wanted to be.
There was one, I guess, my major downfall for this movie, and I think we can both agree on it, was the use of the music.
Yeah.
It was so, like, anytime a scene of importance happened, you'd get this, like, very jarring, vocally loud music.
Like with vocal tracks, and it's not a score, like an actual soundtrack.
Yeah.
Like, almost like Suicide Squad or something.
Exactly, but with, like, bad music.
Yeah.
It felt like in a late night softcore porn when the porn starts, like music begins to play.
It was all kind of like punky, like
airy voices.
Yeah.
You got some in you to share.
The end is near.
Falling down. Well, there's a lot of that. Yeah, it was weird. It was actually I hated it. I really disliked that.
Yeah, it was not great. You could tell, like, I think they used the same artist a couple times.
Yeah.
I don't know if the director just really likes that artist, but
more of that.
Like, they used more so than most movies. They used like real songs. Like there was actually a pretty good scene where Niall is first like realizes she's healed really quickly and she's being kind of ostracized from everyone around her because they think she's kind of this freak.
Yeah.
And to go calm herself down, she just starts like pops in Frank Ocean and starts listening to that. I was like, kind of cool, but not really what this movie's been so far.
The movie, like, if you're gonna cascade,
we end with
through,
some
like,
Khalid.
Yeah,
like,
exactly.
It's like Spider-Verse.
The whole thing is this movie, like, they're alive for like 700-800 years, like, and you're playing music from 2020.
Yeah,
and that's just kind of weird.
Yeah, definitely. It was tonally, it was an odd movie because it felt like it had like elements of. I wrote down actually. I meant to say this in the pre-part, but from watching the trailer, it reminded me of like a mashup of these kind of movies, and this is reaffirmed after watching it. So I put movies I hope this is better than. Jumper had Jumper vibes.
Jumper was better than this.
All the Underworld movies.
Okay.
The A-Team.
Yeah.
Any X-Men spin-off and The Darkest Minds. Remember that one that came out? It was like it was trying to be the next like Hunger Games, Twilight. It's about all these kids that are born with like special gifts.
It sounds like some preteen dystopian novel.
Yeah, it was exactly what it was. Like, they'll use you.
Oh God, break free.
Yeah, it was kind of just a mix. It felt like all the main characters should have been teenagers almost, but they were all like fully grown adults.
Yeah, which also brings up the question, like, how does the aging work when it comes to immortality? Like, I guess when you unlock the immortality, you slow down significantly.
Right. So you age normally until you're chosen, I guess.
Yeah.
And then you just like stop aging. Because Charlize Theron's like, she looks about 50 compared to everyone
like
else.
40.
Yeah. Whereas like Niall's in her like early 20s.
Yeah.
So there's not enough explanation, and I feel like.
But I think that's okay when you kind of dance around the immortality thing. I think there's a lot of just naturally plot holes when you deal with that. Same with like when you go to time travel, like you gotta.
And it kind of
pick a theory and
exactly.
Just go with it.
It was kind of iffy to me how easily she kind of fell for the ruse. Like at the beginning, she got played a couple times, Charlize Theron. So like they go on this mission to save all these like kids, and then they realize it's a setup, and they get filmed. And then when her friend betrays her, the guns are empty, and she gets like played again. So she's kind of naive for someone who's like thousands and thousands of years old. You think she kind of like been around the block a few more times.
Maybe.
She's even getting like swindled by like a 22-year-old with like no combat training. She like almost beats her.
Oh yeah, and especially when she like wakes up and she's like tied in the plane.
Yeah,
yeah.
She's absolutely done there as well.
That's funny.
So I thought she was gonna be a bit more of an imposing figure almost. And she didn't feel like, and like her purpose at the start, she kept being like, the world's not getting better, it's only getting worse, like I'm done.
Yeah, she was so
like,
jaded.
The next scene, she's like, yeah, like we'll do it.
Yeah, well, I mean, this movie is not going to pride itself on the dialogue. I mean,
but then having said that, you had the monologue with the other guy that was really good. You had the gay couple who were also part of the team, and
when he was like reaffirming his love.
Yeah. Their relationship felt very organic, and there was some really nice like monologues between the two where it didn't just feel like certain movies in the past that have just kind of thrown in these like token minority or gay relationships for no reason.
Or you just say it once and it's there.
Yeah, exactly.
This gave them actually a scene, and it was good the way it was set up. It was like, oh, is he your boyfriend? It wasn't like, yeah, he is. It was like, this is why.
Yeah, exactly.
And I was like, oh shit. All right, yeah, I'm down with this.
Yeah, so that was really well done. But if anything, it was just like Charlize Theron, the protagonist, her character actually felt kind of like the flattest, like almost like the weakest.
Yeah.
And all the supporting characters.
And she felt very monotone, actually.
Yeah, like she wasn't great performance-wise.
No.
She kept saying a lot of like, we have to do this. You're one of us.
Yeah, frankly, I expect more from Charlize.
Yeah, she had that really good scene where she got betrayed and she had been shot and she's like stopped healing. Mm-hmm. And like that was very good, but she's like screaming and like, so like she's obviously capable. I think she was just trying to play that jaded angle.
Yeah.
Kind of comes across as flat, I guess.
Yeah. And just to touch on like the dialogue of this movie, that we had a couple scenes. I just, one that stuck out to me was like when they're on the plane and the girl's like, oh, I have so many questions. Charlie's like, I didn't say that you'd like the answers. It felt like that whole conversation, everyone was speaking in half sentences.
Yeah,
like
movie
that was
talk.
brutal, man. Like you couldn't understand the dialogue.
Well, it's like the reason you said, yeah. She's like, I thought you said there'd be answers, and she's like, I didn't say you'd like them, but she still didn't answer the question.
Exactly.
Yeah, so, and then it just cut. She accepted that.
Or the other one where they're explaining how Quinn was getting tortured.
Yeah.
And Niall was like, oh, you can't blame yourself. It wasn't your fault. And then the next scene, she's talking about how Charlie's... Yeah, Charlie's like, I'll protect you. Like, I protect my team. And then Niall goes, like, you protected Quinn?
Yeah. It's like, you just heard she had nothing. She couldn't do
you
anything.
Literally just said the opposite. And then you come in and making this woman who saved your life feel like absolute bag of dicks. It makes no sense.
It really didn't. But overall...
Like set pieces, the lab fight was. I don't like lab fights.
I don't.
Dude, I'm honestly thinking back to this movie, and I have no recollection of the middle act.
I remember like broken glass like, there's a lot of broken glass in this movie, and like quick reloading.
Yeah,
and
a lot of like throat slitting.
Yeah, and it felt like a lot of the team. I mean, I guess as much as I'm saying I don't want this movie to be cheesy, like it still felt as if their actual like abilities or their specialities or whatever weren't really like focused on. Mm-hmm. So it's like, what do you guys actually do? Do you guys just like murder people?
There was like one aside. Like Booker was like the tech guy.
Yeah.
Very briefly, he had a
was
laptop.
He? Okay. Because like it didn't really say like what their day-to-day like kind of tasks are. Mm-hmm. Is it war? Is it like yeah. I feel like as a team, I didn't really understand like what they do normally, because like when they all meet up again at the start of the movie, they're like, oh, like just like old times, like you missed this, but it's like, what are you guys really doing? Like,
yeah, it was the group dynamic wasn't there.
Yeah, because they didn't really spend that much time together, I guess, in the movie. Yeah. It was a lot of separation.
My last point is Chiwetel was a little wasted in the film.
Yeah, I haven't seen him like. I mean, I'm sure he's got like lots of good performances.
12 Years a Slave.
12 Years a Slave is obviously the one where you're like, Jesus, this guy is incredible.
Mm-hmm. But then you look at 2012, you're like, why are you in this movie?
He was in that.
Oh, yeah.
And then, yeah, what else has he been in? Love Actually. He's pretty good in that.
What's that movie with T.I. and Hayden Christensen? Takers?
Takers?
Is he in Takers?
I don't think he's in Takers. Chris Brown's in Takers.
Michael Ealy's in Takers. Now I gotta look it up.
Yeah, take a look. Oh, yeah, he was Scar recently, wasn't he?
Yeah.
In The Lion King.
He was in Maleficent, Mistress of Evil.
Oh. He's picking all the blockbusters, eh? Go for the easy paydays.
Oh, he was in The Martian. Okay.
Yeah. Who wasn't in The Martian?
That's true. Oh, he was in Salt. Oh, God.
This is a very Salt kind of movie as well.
I don't think he was in Takers.
It was kind of before his time, really. I feel like he was a late bloomer.
Yeah, he was, yeah. I'm sure he'll kind of get out of the block.
Doctor Strange 2, he's going to be right around that Oscar conversation.
Oh, my God.
No, but he was fine in the movie.
Yeah, he was fine. But I would like to see him as an actor do more.
Yeah.
Like, he's got the pedigree. Give him a bigger role in this kind of film.
Yeah, exactly. And not just singling him out, but this movie also had a lot of scenes where people are trying to, it's like almost over dramatize the situation. Mm-hmm. Like they're talking with like a shaky voice.
And you got the sad nasally music in the background.
Yeah. And it just felt like, as much as I didn't think the movie felt too long, although it's weird right now because I'm still looking at it. It says it was an hour 55. So maybe must be 2:05 with the credits.
Yeah.
Which is kind of unusual. They don't normally do that. 155 sounds about right.
Yeah.
It didn't feel like super boring. Like it went by. A few little moments.
I think it was a little bit boring. I think it was.
It wasn't like, I think just some of the movies we watched recently have been like slugfests.
Yeah, that's true. It's better than Scoob, I tell you that much.
Scoob is still like sitting with. So I think about that movie like once a day. I'm just like,
why did I put myself through that?
How bad that movie was.
Here's something a little for you.
Okay.
I feel like these Netflix originals, they kind of have like that's a Netflix movie. They have a Netflix vibe to them.
It's
so
like
can I name you some here?
Yeah.
Six Underground, Triple Frontier, Extraction, The Old Guard.
Yeah.
It's like and I think you had mentioned this to me, not during a podcast session, but how like the Netflix studios, they like to have their own kind of cinematography, their own kind of feel, right?
Kind of glossy.
Yeah. And it's starting to set in for me.
Yeah.
And I think they need to kind of break out of that.
Yeah, they could do something. I think they need to, because to me, the best way I can describe all these movies are like almost movies.
Yeah.
They're all like that Deepwater Horizon.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, there's been a few of them in theaters, but those ones that are just, what was the other one with Mark Wahlberg where they like steal like freighters? They break into like freighters and steal.
With
Based on a true story.
Kate Beckinsale plays his wife.
Yeah.
Some drug thing.
Oh my god, what is that movie called? Anyway, these movies are like almost movies where they're not quite the budget and like the backing behind them to like be like an Inception or something.
Yeah, yeah.
But they're too good to be like direct to DVD. They're just kind of caught in the middle. Mm-hmm. So either make less of them and like go for it, or strip back and make some more like indie, kind of like Warrior, Manchester by the Sea type movies.
Because right now we're getting these middling action films where you're not getting plot, you're not getting strong dialogue, but you might get some cool shots and you're going to get some good action.
Yeah, and like the one big name that kind of draws you in, like maybe a Denzel or something.
Well, speaking of Netflix, I don't know if you saw headlines here. They just signed a new movie starring Chris Evans, Ryan Gosling, directed by the Russo brothers. $200 million budget, a spy action thriller.
Jesus. Did you hear about this new movie with Tom Holland that the Russo brothers have just done?
Yeah, the bank one. Where
he plays, like, it takes place over, like, 20 years.
Yeah.
And apparently they're saying, like, they think he's going to be, like, front of the Oscars line this year.
Oh, really? I thought it was, like, more of, like, a comedy.
No, it's, like, a heavy drama. He's, like, a drug addict who's, like, robbing banks to fuel his drug habit. And I saw, like, the first still, and he's, like, buzz cut.
Bald hair, yeah.
It looks good.
Are the Russo brothers going to solidify themselves as top-end directors?
Like the biggest directors in Hollywood? I mean, they pretty much are. They need one hit that's like, they need that movie.
Yeah, they need like a drama hit. Yeah, for sure. Project Power, that's next on the list.
Project Power.
Oh, it's good to see Joseph Gordon-Levitt back. I'm excited.
Yeah, sure.
He's taking 10 years off.
Has he really?
Yeah. His last movie was, Inception 2010.
Premium Rush?
Yeah, it was like 2012, 2013.
Don John... No, he did a Snowden movie. That wasn't that long ago.
That doesn't really count.
Lead role, like Oliver Stone, like. But no, he's been away for a while.
But Old Guard, I would never watch it again.
No,
I don't
never.
think.
But I'd watch when the new Guard is out, I'll check it out.
Yeah, and the way they set up the sequel, it looks a lot more interesting than this kind of lab militarize them plot.
Yeah.
If the sequel sounds like it's going to be, Booker and Quinn versus these other guys. Yeah. We're gonna take deep down into the lore and
now like with Charlize Theron as Immortal.
Yeah.
There might be some interesting.
So what does that look like?
There.
Yeah, even like how they approach an action scene with Charlize being mortal, like how they surround her. That'd be a cool take on it.
Before she gets it back halfway through the movie.
Obviously.
Yeah. Cool. Well, until next time then. Maybe what was it called again? Baby Boomer. The next one.
Project Power.
Project Power.
It's not out for like another year.
No, it comes out in August.
Does it?
Yeah.
Oh shit.
When Netflix drop a trailer, it's like right around the corner.
Oh damn.
Yeah.
I'm down then.
So we'll have that coming for you soon.
Yeah.
Until then, I've been Antony.
I've been Aman.
And thanks for listening.
Thank you.